How's everybody?
Awesome.
Oh, I'm so happy. I was thinking about that when I was getting ready to come back, that I love nourishment and I love movement, but I was like most excited tonight to talk about spirituality because it's something that I'm very passionate about and was what made me open this business, to be honest. So there are some people here that have been participating in the 2 weeks, and then we also have some new friends. I wanted to open it up tonight to people that haven't been participating. This is my friend Donna, and I'm just going to say a little blurb about spirituality. I was planning this morning what I was going to talk about, and then I remembered that Donna was in town, and she's the perfect person to help facilitate this. She's a medium and an author, and meditation and yoga, and all. So, spirituality. Donna, please go.
I'm Donna. I haven't met anybody yet, and I was not here last week, but I was somewhere. I guarantee that. And I've been in this journey for over 30 years, between food, spirituality, yoga, meditation, mediumship, spirit now. And yesterday on Twitter, I joined a little storm, and it was about the commitment to writing every day. I'm also a writer. And everybody was saying, they get up in the morning, they have their breakfast, they write for an hour, and then they go maybe take a walk, and then they come back, and they write for another 2 hours. And I joined them with, here's my commitment to writing. I wake up and I breathe. And in the next moment, I check in, am I still breathing? And then the next moment, if I'm not writing, I don't judge myself. And if I'm judging myself, I check in and I breathe again. Anything after breathing is just cake to me. So at this time in my life, I make that commitment to taking my breath every day, just breathing every moment.
That's good. Yeah. That's as simple as it can get, right? That's what I was thinking about. Like with this topic, it's different. It's so personal, for everybody. What it means to you, like what does spirituality mean to you? Because it can mean just breathing, right? It can mean putting on the 90s music and like having a moment where you just feel connected. So I wanted to read this. I looked up the definition of spirituality, and I thought this was so profound. It says that, it's developed and expanded over time. But traditionally, spirituality referred to a religious process of reformation, return, which aims to recover the original shape of man. And that sounds a little bit like complicated, but really, when I think about what spirituality means to me is a return to my essence, the original shape of who I am. So why don't we pass it over to Miss Donna, and we will
Glide in the circle?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what I've come to find out in my many, many years of spiritual practice is the words that we used, that you guys, the younger ones, are growing up with, are no longer viable. The word for the meaning of medium doesn't exist anymore. It's just not what you think it is and what you maybe read in a book these days. So the same thing with spirituality. It's a different word these days. It means what it means to you, and not what it means to me. So for me right now, spirituality means integrity. It means walking the walk of what you're going to talk. Now, I started my yoga practice when my therapist said, you might want to try yoga. And that was my introduction. And then years later, I'm a teacher, I have my own studio, I've done the path. And I'm sitting in my studio early in the morning, and I didn't even want to go to my class. I didn't even want to go teach my class that morning. But I would get up and I would just take a deep breath and look down. There's people depending on you. But I got there. And I still do that. I'm now, we struggled over how old I am. I think I'm 57. And even now, every day I wake up and I breathe. And every day I accept the parts of me that I didn't like so much. And I don't like so much. And now I invite them in and say, I love you. I love that piece of me that's not comfortable where I am right now, whether it's physically or emotionally or spiritually. I love that piece of me that, oh my gosh, I think the last 20 minutes I didn't take one deep breath. So I like spirituality as a walk of integrity. Just as there's many different versions of the word yoga, because why? Originally there was one version of the word yoga. It was union of body, mind, and soul, spirit, and that was it. But now we've created, I call it marketing. We've created every sort of different brand of yoga, every different brand of spirituality or religion. So I follow my path, and my path is everyone is in the same path. Everyone is on the same level of soul. We're all connected via soul because we are all soul. We're all one soul. I feel what you feel. Why? Because I am you. And that to me is integrity. That to me is the definition of spirituality. So make it what you want to make it. Don't make it what you read in a book or online. And if it doesn't fit your purpose, just say, well, I like that, but it doesn't resonate with me. Don't throw it away completely, because maybe in a month or a year down the road, you may say, oh, I remember that. I remember that book I read. Who's read Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now? It is the place to go. It is the place to go. When I read it, it's got to be at least 25 years ago. I highlighted so much. Oh my gosh, I highlighted everything. And then I put it on the shelf. And I opened my yoga studio, and I became an Eckhart Tolle certified yoga studio that I can teach what he taught and show his videos back when we put in the VHS, back when we did that. And I was all over the country. People were, Skyping in, calling in, and talking about Eckhart Tolle. So years later, I pick up that book, and I start to look at it again, and I look at all the highlighted parts, and I say, holy crap, I've been doing that the last year. Holy shit, I've been doing that. Holy crap, I did that too. That just happened last week. So when you speak with the power of now, and you read someone who writes in the power of presence, the power of now, you pick it up virtually. Whether you understood it or not, the moment you read it, some part of you picked it up. And maybe months or years down the road, you're like, where did I learn that? I say that to my daughter all the time, who's 28 now and lives in New York City. She's got a big gig, and she does something wonderful with her fellow staff members. And I said, who taught you to do that? She said, hello. I was raised by you. Like, oh yeah, I don't even remember, but just through action. So back to integrity. To me, spirituality is about integrity. How did I start this, what I do now? This only came to me in 2012. I started seeing spirit. But when I was teaching yoga almost 20 years ago, I'm sitting teaching my final meditation after yoga class. Everybody sits up, and we do about 3 minutes of a nice meditation. So I just said to everybody, all right, everybody close your eyes. And the first thing I was taught as a yoga teacher in my training was, don't ever do the meditation with your students. Don't close your eyes. Don't do the meditation with your students. But for some reason that day, I closed my eyes also. I said, okay, everybody close your eyes. I closed my eyes. And in that moment, I was shot up into the universe. Shot up as high as you can go. I'm up amongst the stars in the dark. I'm looking around. All I'm seeing is stars. I'm sitting on this cushy cloud. I'm just sitting there all by myself, just hanging out like this. Years go by. Years go by. I'm happy by myself. I'm not alone. I'm not afraid. Years go by. I'm up there just staring at the stars. All of a sudden, my little mind, my human mind said, holy shit, how am I going to get back to my yoga studio? And in that moment, boom, I was plopped back down on my yoga cushion. I opened my eyes and I went to everybody. This is like the look I'm getting. Like, I'm so sorry. How long was I gone? And they said, I don't know what you're talking about. You just said, close your eyes. So that set me on a path that I did not know until years later, but I was searching for that moment that whole time. If it could happen once, it could happen again. And if it could happen without me doing anything but closing my eyes, that's all I did was close my eyes. I said, screw this 20 minutes and half an hour of meditation. I'm just closing my eyes now and seeing what happens. So then when I became a medium, that's when it all started to happen. I closed my eyes and immediately something would come. Not because I was sitting in meditation, and it was because I had the intention to sit in meditation. So let me ask you a question. How do you know you've achieved meditation? How do you know you've achieved meditation?
Personally, I feel like when I come back out of it, I feel rested. I feel like I just took a nap or I just had a fresh night's sleep, and I'm breathing fresh air again.
It's beautiful. Beautiful. Anybody else? How do you know?
When the timer's up. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be a smart.
No, that was a great answer.
Really, that's when I know.
That was a
it's
great
done.
answer.
Or Amber tells me to like.
Yep.
Wiggle your toes and breathe
Yeah.
Yeah.
four times.
That's a great answer. That's a great answer. So before I tell you the answer, those are all great answers, but they aren't my answer. How would you feel if you didn't achieve that? How do you feel when you come out of meditation and you don't feel that way?
Frustrated.
Right. There's the judgment piece.
Right.
Because you weren't accepting everything that happened as, oh, this was meant to happen, I love this. You know you've achieved meditation when you sit, when you made the intention to just sit. That's it, you're done. Get up and go then. 5 minutes, take a couple breaths, follow your breath, follow the thought, coming and going, get up and go. Boy, that liberated me about 6 years ago. Spirit said, you're meditating too long. And I said, too long? That's all they taught me all these years. They taught me to sit down. Buddhist, hour. Sit in this uncomfortable position. Heck with that. And I'm like, sit on a chair, sit with your legs out, sit back against the wall. Whatever you can do to be comfortable. Well, what's your intention? So if my intention is to sit and just sit and breathe a couple times, I don't fail. There's no judgment. Because I feel pretty crappy if I fail. And I don't want to feel that. I want to just say, okay, I'm up and I'm gone. I did it. I meditated. I set the intention. I sat and I did it. Yay! Meditation. So I am not a firm believer anymore of sitting in that position for an hour. I am a firm believer in the middle of the night when you start, like wake up at 3 a.m., get up in your bed, sit up, and close your eyes for a little bit. I am a fan of waking up in the morning 10 minutes before your alarm goes off and stretching and breathing in bed. I am a fan if it's the middle of the day and there's nothing else going on, let me just sit here a moment with my breath. And that's it. That's it. So my definition of spirituality in a roundabout way. So, any questions about that or my journey? So, my journey was, again, being open to meditation and yoga. That's where I was going. I was in Vermont. My daughter was happy in college. All of a sudden, Spirit appears in my bed. And I'm watching an Abraham Hicks video. Has anyone ever heard of Abraham Hicks?
Yeah.
I'm watching an Abraham Hicks video, probably the first one. My mother and my brother were constantly in my head saying, you have to watch Esther, you have to watch Abraham Hicks, you have to. I'm like, Mom, I don't have time for that. I have enough going on in my life. So I'm watching, actually I was in Virginia, and I'm watching this Abraham Hicks video, and this man appears in my bed. Well-dressed, older man, glasses, nice suit and tie, and the first thing I say is, great. Older, unavailable, just my type. That's my big one. So I'm saying to him, like I'm talking to you, I'm not fazed at all about this. I'm figuring, sure, whatever. Who are you? And he's just saying, click the button, click the button. And I'm like, but who are you? This is pretty cool. How are you appearing? What is this? You're like human form. He's just saying, click the button, touch that screen, Donna. He knew my name. So we went on like that for a little bit because I'm all about, wait a minute, you got to give me my answer first. Who are you? And he said, click the button, please. I clicked the button. It took me to a picture of Jerry and Esther. And it was Jerry. Jerry was sitting in my bed. I turned to look at him, and he was gone. So he answered my question. But you see how I kept wanting more information, and he's answering my question. So that started me on the path of mediumship. I'm telling my mother's on the horn going, okay, when you're ready to do readings, all my friends in Florida want to be. I said, Mom, I don't even know where I'm going with this. What are you talking about? And she said, oh, you'll do readings. So to this day, she's my biggest supporter. And I just say, it's you. This is your work. Your work is changing the world. You're not changing the world. You're becoming a spiritually enlightened soul. Your soul is coming out so that you can help others just with the vibration. You don't have to be next to somebody to change them. Let me give you one more story. I was in a workshop. I worked at a health institute in Michigan. We had a workshop, about 5 women in front of me, and I'm talking about something, don't remember what it was. All of a sudden, we just started having this fabulous spiritual conversation. They're throwing questions back at me. I'm throwing questions from spirit. And I said, I hope somebody's writing this down because this is not me talking. When that happened, I saw the vibration leave the room and go out. Seconds later, it came back along with thousands of souls that came back to hear what we were talking about. That to me also changed my perspective about how we change the world. We change it now through our vibration. And you don't have to be next to somebody to do that. But you do have to be next to yourself. And be your soul, be who you are as your soul. So changing the vibration, girls here, it's what we're doing. We're all light workers. We're all working to find our own light. You don't have to say, how can I become a light worker? You are a light worker. So I love that, knowing where I created everything that's happening to me in this lifetime. That's me. So how could I get mad at something that happened? I chose for it to happen. So I go with the flow a lot better these days, once I started realizing I go with the flow. But I still get angry, I still get sick, I still get mad, I still get frustrated, and then I say, oh yeah, I'm supposed to love this. Okay, how can I love this? Well, first I want to come back to my breath. First I want to make sure I am walking the walk that I talk, and the walk that I say. Do I judge myself? Absolutely. It's difficult when you are by yourself. The kid is gone, you're not in a relationship. You're traveling on your own, you're writing on your own, you're constantly with your own thoughts. So it's a really good exercise, 24/7. I say meditation is 24/7. It's an awareness, that's what meditation is. It's an awareness. So candle, words, music, doesn't matter. It's an awareness, period. Where you place your foot, what you put in your mouth, food, how you chew it, how you're speaking to someone. So every day I do what you do too.